Hi everybody, I'm Lacey Shane, founder of Real Women, Real Success. Thank you for joining me today. I have a great topic that's come up from a number of people that I've been chatting with, women in the workplace, and this is, I'm the new kid on the block, and how do I assert myself, or should I just hang back and be passive? And that is a great question, especially for some of our younger people, maybe just coming out of college, young professional women who are just getting their start in the workplace, or maybe you've proven yourself a little bit. You've done some great things, and now you're on to your next job or your next assignment or your next company, and you have a lot of wisdom and success to impart, but it's sort of falling on deaf ears. And you're sort of wondering why that is, and should you assert yourself, and is that what is wanted in your new workplace? I want to suggest some things to you today that I think will be helpful to you, that I think will help you learn how to assert yourself, and maybe think through some of the strategies that will make it easier and you'll be more informed when you do end up asserting your ideas or your talents or anything that you want to do to have an impact within your organization. So the first thing I always say to someone who's in a new environment, by the way, I want to share with you, I have never been in a new environment where I didn't have to do all the things I'm going to share with you right now. Just because we have grand success in our careers doesn't mean when we walk in the door we're automatically respected by all. We're still the new kid on the block. And what most people are saying is, well, they don't know our culture yet, and they don't know me yet, and they don't know the history yet behind this, that, and the other thing, and they don't know their place yet or how we do things around here. There's a whole culture and a bunch of personalities you have to get to know before you have credibility with that team and within that organization. And that's normal. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean you're not respected. It means there's a ramp-up time. And if you utilize that ramp-up time wisely, and I'm going to tell you some things you can do. This is what I always do in any new job. Then you are going to gain credibility. You're going to build those relationships. And most importantly, you're going to know how to have an impact. You're going to know when to assert yourself and when to be passive. So the first thing you want to do is go talk to your boss. You just want to say, hey, I want to know how you want me to engage in our staff meetings or in these department meetings. And I want to know if you could tell me what's the best way I can apply my talents to this new job. How can I bring value? And help me understand the value that the company is looking for from me. Help me understand the value that you are looking for from me so I can try to most adequately meet those expectations. Share with me how you want me to engage with my peers and with department heads at our meetings. Do you want me to come with ideas? Do you want me to share them with you first? How do you want that to happen? And what can you tell me about the culture of the organization? And what things should I know that I may not know because I'm so new to the organization? What are some of the downfalls that or black holes or things that I might step in unknowingly that would not be productive? And what are some of the best things I can do right away to really get myself understanding the organization and to sort of fast track myself into a place where I can be the highest level of value? I mean, the more questions you can ask like that of your boss, the more they're going to be thrilled with you, and you're going to get jewels of information. Okay, so now, maybe you don't have the best boss, but you still got to go through that process as much as you can, go through that listening tour with your boss. But as you sit back and observe your workplace, try to figure out who are the other players. Who are the movers and shakers and players among your peers, among other management? What are the relationships like? Do you notice any politics at all? Just try to hang back a little bit. You know, sometimes being passive isn't really passive. It's wisdom. It's observation. It's getting to know the lay of the land. And there's nothing wrong with that. One of the things that I think is really important to ask yourself is when you go into one of these meetings where people are throwing ideas out there, like throwing spaghetti at a wall to see what sticks, and so many of the people have been there a while, have so much confidence and bravado, and they're just throwing out things and asserting themselves. But you have to ask yourself, and you can even ask your boss this, or another manager or a peer, does this person really have an impact in this organization? Is this the way things get done in this organization? I think what you're going to find is what I've found in almost every organization. Most oftentimes, the biggest impact comes from the one-on-one assertions, from the one-on-one relationships. And I want to suggest that the best idea for you in terms of being assertive in your new environment is to be assertive in digging for and listening for the information you need to be effective and be impactful. That's the kind of assertiveness that I think gets really respected. One of the best professionals I've ever met was someone who was just so young in their career, and this person had, I could probably say, the highest level of impact of any staff member I've ever had in 30 years. And this person was 22 years old. This person hardly ever spoke up in a staff meeting. They mostly just asked questions. People respected this person though. They respected them a lot. Where this person asserted themselves is exactly what I just told you. He sat down with me as his boss, his supervisor, and said, how can I utilize my talents? I'm thinking of this certain way. Am I accurate? Is there anything I don't know? Give me some context for this. How did this actually come to be? And are there reasons why I need to respect it? Or is it something that we can just forget? There's all kinds of great questions that you can do on your listening tour with your boss and others that will not only impress, but will give you key information that almost can develop a roadmap for how you can be impactful. And here's the cool thing, ladies. Most people don't do this. They don't do it, and yet it's the very thing that identifies you as a leader. Another thing that you might be able to do is, as you're doing your listening tour and starting to interface with different people in the organization, you can do what I call asserting yourself when you already know what the outcome is going to be. And what I mean by that is if there's a meeting coming up and it's an idea meeting, or there's going to be a decision made there, or people are going to start to either compete or just try to throw out solutions to a problem, go do your homework first. If you sat back and looked at and discerned who all the players are, what the culture is like, you can go have even short meetings and say, hey, I know we're having this meeting coming up. I'm giving this some thought. Do you think that's of value to bring up in this meeting? You're going to get great feedback in that. And here's a couple things that will happen. The feedback you get may influence you to change, morph, or redirect your idea a little bit. And the more people you do that with, they're going to be sitting around the table, the more it will morph. And a lot of times what you'll find is you can sort of re-chisel your idea to really satisfy a lot of different interests, so that by the time you go to the meeting, you already know you have a good amount of support around the table. So when you assert yourself with confidence, because you know how many other people around the table who are those players that make a difference view what your idea is. And that's one way to do it. I rarely go into meetings these days where a decision is going to be made, or I'm asking for a decision to be made, where I don't have a pretty good idea already of where we're going to land. And that's because the real work is one-on-one with the key players. And that's how you become influential, and that's how you assert yourself, and that's how you become impactful. It's through one-on-one relationships. People don't get promoted most oftentimes through team meetings and through department meetings. Sure, the way you conduct yourself can identify you as a leader or not, but when it comes to really having value and impact, that often happens through having these one-on-one relationships where you really learn what you have to do to have an impact. So I hope that was helpful for you today. I love the idea that I'm starting to get questions now. Please keep them coming. I'll address any topic you want. And also I want to let you know that sometimes I can't capture every caveat to an issue. Sometimes there are exceptions. Sometimes there's a scenario that's different than the one I'm talking about. I understand that we can't address every scenario on every topic in these videos. But what I can do is do a follow-on video or have a dialogue with you. If there's something that I didn't cover or something that doesn't make sense, I'm always glad to do that, because you all know why I'm here. I care about your success. I want to see women succeed and elevate to higher levels of leadership. And the way we're going to do that is to assert ourselves with influence and to create great one-on-one relationships that have the impact that will help us succeed and grow. So I look forward to seeing you next week, and know that I'm your biggest fan, and go out there and have a great week.